Tell us about yourself and what you do.
I'm a journalist. I started off as a TV journalist many moons ago in Berlin, working for the head office of a 24-hour news channel in Germany. And I was a field reporter covering the government, which was really exciting at the time because there were quite some scandals just starting. And yeah, being a newbie, I was sent in the middle of the night to make sure I'm the first to do an interview with somebody coming out after 10 hours of a meeting, of a crisis meeting. And so I was just put right in the middle of this, which was a really exciting time. And I really loved my job, going to the parliament, grilling politicians, and really exciting being sort of at the center of politics. That was a great time. But after a while, I decided I had been there, done that, and I decided to move to London, as some people do. And I had a great start there because I started working for freelancing for different TV channels from all over the world, and I was really lucky to find work rather fast, and so that was also exciting because I covered everything from royals to rock stars, politics, finance, interviewed all kinds of people like George Soros and some head of states, but also all kinds of rock stars, actors, you name it. So it was a really interesting time, and I very much enjoyed myself in London. And that's actually also where I started a career in writing, because someday I got a phone call from Financial Times Germany if I could cover some famous German businessman and do a story on him. And that's when I started actually working as a writer, and it became my second career. And now I do both. I really enjoy myself doing both the TV work, which is great, but also writing. It's very different kind of work, but both very fulfilling. And yeah, I'm very glad to do it.
Nina, I am so excited to hear and remember your journey. Tell us a little bit more about, I know that you write and then make TV series. So tell us a little bit more about your more recent work. You're based in Germany now. I know you've done some really interesting things lately.
Yes, I did a documentary about the history of Dakota Zoo, which was a lovely work because it started off actually right at the beginning of the pandemic. So during first lockdown, I spent my time with Pablo Picasso and Marlene Dietrich at the Côte d'Azur. So I was totally in another world, which was fabulous because my husband got to do all the homeworking terror with our children. And I said, no, I'm sorry, closed doors. I'm at the Côte d'Azur. And this turned into a lovely documentary for Arte, which is a pan-European culture network. And it's now actually it's sold to many different countries. So it's been distributed worldwide, which is great for an author of a film, that your film goes out internationally. So that was something I enjoyed very much. And currently, I was just about to start filming with then Prince Charles. And so I'm still hanging on to see if King Charles is still available for the documentary that we were just planning together to start filming in October. So that is very exciting, and keep fingers crossed that it's still going to happen. Maybe not just now in October, I assume. He's rather busy now. but maybe we can film next spring, which would be fabulous.
Nina, I love that, and I think it's so interesting how you can switch from interesting places to famous people to interesting people. I mean, who was the most interesting person you ever interviewed?
I can't say. I mean, I met Prince Charles before, and I did an interview with him 3 years ago in Scotland, in Dumfries House, and I was really, really impressed by what he's done. And when you go back 50 years, in the early 70s, or even in 1970, he did his first major speech about pollution, environment, plastic in the seas. And people just thought he was whatever, crazy or whatever. They thought this was all not relevant. And when you start to follow him and research, then it's really amazing that he's been such a visionary all along, and that he never stopped, even though he got quite bad reactions to what he was doing. So I think that was rather impressive. Other people, other interviews, you think, oh my God, it's going to be amazing, and then you think, oh no, it was actually not so amazing. So some Hollywood actors, I'm not going to name, where you have the most impressive name and you think, oh my God, this is going to be amazing, and in the end they were rather dull. Some of them, some were really impressive, like George Clooney. He was very impressive because you could tell he's a very political person, and he was actually bored by the question I had to ask him about his movie, because first of all, you get an interview to talk about his new movie, but then within like 2 minutes, we moved on to politics, which we both thought so much more interesting. And so it's
I love
the great, sorry.
I love that, Nina.
The great thing about my job is that I can be curious, and that you get to meet people and ask questions, and for me, it's important that you get a kind of that you have a good understanding, that you kind of meet a human. I don't go to meet a Hollywood star. I'm not fazed by that. And so I'm interested in the person, in the human, in what they do for mankind. I'm not sort of interested in a dull, superficial person doing this all for money and fame and stuff like that.
Yeah, I like that you say that. And obviously I'm super excited you talk about our King Charles, because that's very relevant right now.
Absolutely.
What motivates you in doing this job that has really been, through your whole adult life?
I'm a curious person, and I think it keeps you going, because you jump into a new topic and you start researching. So whenever you jump into a new topic, it's like you discover a new world, and that's so. It keeps you alive. It keeps you make new contacts, and you find out things, and it's always like you're doing like a little thesis on your topic, and that's so interesting. And when you have for example, when I prepared for my Côte d'Azur film, in the beginning I had no clue about the history, so I really started digging deep and getting into the history, and read all the history of Picasso, and what the Côte d'Azur did to his oeuvre. So what the Côte d'Azur changed in his life, and how it inspired him, and it was like studying all these different these different aspects of history. And so when you go and do the interview, so I interviewed a muse of Picasso, and I interviewed the director of the museum, and it's really interesting when you have to really prepare if you meet these kind of people, but they reward it with interesting interviews. and you always have to, I don't like, there's so many journalists out there who don't care about the answers they're getting back. They have their list of questions, but they hardly ever react to what the other person is saying. And I find that it drives me crazy. When I was just listening to a podcast of a really good journalist, and I was so much looking forward to this podcast, but he was and he had this really interesting young winemaker, and he hardly listened to her, or wouldn't react to her answers. So he was just ticking off his cliches and boasting his knowledge about winemaking. So it's a pity. It's a lost opportunity, I think.
I mean, it's really engagement, which is the human engagement between two
Absolutely
people, which makes it so interesting.
Absolutely. And you also have to be humble and you have to be curious, but also be humble and kind. It doesn't help if you're being aggressive and if you don't really care what the other person has to say. You have to really, I don't know. I love people, and I love stories, and I love finding out about other people. So this could be the person I meet at the butcher. You're in a queue and you start a conversation, and it can be really interesting. So I have this kind of, people tell me, you ask all these questions. Why did you ask that lady all these questions? I said, I'm interested. So you cannot really switch it off, but it's, in a way, it's enriching.
I love it, Nina, because I think in this world it's very important to have people who are really good communicators and make these connections.
Absolutely.
And these cooperations. And I love that every project you do, you become a little sort of Einstein of that topic, whatever that may be.
I wouldn't say Einstein, but an Einstein apprentice. No, but it's fun. You see, it's also rewarding for yourself, because all of a sudden you realize, oh my God, there's this again, and now I know this, and it's rewarding. It's very rewarding.
Nina, what would you think is your superpower in all of this? What makes you so good at what you do? And you might have answered that already.
I would say my superpower is the true interest, or the genuine interest in the person sitting across. If it's the king, or if it's the farmer, it's I'm really in the situation when I'm talking to somebody. I really engage in the situation, and I try to understand the person, the situation the person is in, and I try to see their problems and their visions and everything. So I think probably curiosity, or
yeah, I love it. It's a real deep human curiosity, which
yes, absolutely.
Nina, what are your plans or dreams for your future?
Keep on enjoying myself, finding new projects. I always say I'm kind of the corner shop of journalism, because I do so many different things. Today I was asked if I wanted to do a series on travel for Netflix, so which would be another fabulous new adventure, you see, and I have to come up now with ideas. I haven't put my name on the dotted line yet. I haven't signed anything, but it's just sort of somebody asking you, could you come up with ideas, and let's start working on ideas. It's fabulous. And so I'm just curious what's happening, and I'm always open to new ideas and what's coming my way. So when you tell me a story, Steffi, it could be that in the back of my mind, I start thinking that could be actually a fun story, or it could be a good story to cover, and where could I actually write about this or include this somewhere? So whenever I hear something, I'm always
Yeah, it's the web, the spider's web. You're
Yes.
trying to immediately knit it together with, yeah, it's brilliant. Nina,
Yeah.
you've been so sweet to tell us all of that for She Can today. Um,
I'm very amazed at what you're doing, Steffi. I mean, first, you started off your amazing project with Lalibela, and you keep going on. You're the same. We have the same spirit. So you're
yeah,
not
we
just sitting there.
definitely. I think the storytelling is the thing that we need more than anything going forwards. And so I'm super excited. We will come up with a project, Nina.
Super. I'm looking forward to hear everything about it.
Thank you, Nina.
Thank you so much, Steffi, for having me. And we keep each other posted.
We will.